All right, back here on the Steve Day Show, brought to you by our friends over at Patriot Mobile. What better way to celebrate America 250 than by going with a company that for more than a decade has been on the vanguard of the parallel economy? Don't go to Patriot Mobile because they share your values. Go there because they do a great product and they share your values. Vitally important. Excellence is one of our values. No more mediocre products with a cross on it or a GOP elephant. Stop it. Don't do it anymore, right? You don't owe anybody emotionally anything. Get the best product, and we should be the ones making the best products because excellence, we claim, happens to be one of our values. So Patriot Mobile has proven it to our family. That's why we've been there for 6 years now. Not just talking about them, but they are our family's mobile phone provider. That's how I know they're going to do a great job for you. Make the switch today. You'll get started with a free month of service if you do at patriotmobile.com/Steve. Use the code Steve to get that free month of service. Code Steve at patriotmobile.com/Steve. Again, that's patriotmobile.com/Steve. Use the code Steve for that free month of service at patriotmobile.com/Steve. All right, let's bring in our good friend, Bob Vanderplas from the Family Leader. Good to see you, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy Father's Day to all you guys. We had a great Father's Day. I told Darla we're just in a sweet spot right now. Our boys still kind of like us. The grandkids think we're all that, and our daughter-in-laws all kind of think we're okay too. So we're in a sweet spot. It was a great Father's Day week.
It's wise of the Lord to let this stage of life come when you're towards the end, lest your head gets so big, right?
Oh, God.
If you got a chance to endure this for 40 or 50 years, you'd think it's all about you. But it's good that he waits until the very end before we get to this stage of life, right?
Well, my grandchildren are still young, 6 and under.
I was talking about them. I was talking about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and me. I'm on Act 3 now as well, so I get it as well. Now, you guys have an event coming up, your annual leadership summit this year in July.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that for a second. Who's going to be there this year?
Well, it's our 15th annual leadership summit. It's one that always gets a lot of national press, a lot of national attention. And this year, the keynote speaker is going to be Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And we're really looking forward to having him. Steve, a little bit like what you experienced when you went to D.C., he kind of underwhelms you immediately with his presence, then overwhelms you with his presentation. I think he'll deliver a really, really good message to the summit attendees. But in addition to that, you've heard before, I believe, Dr. Bill Lyle, the pro-life doc, has a great message out, again, on the black market abortion pill, the reversal pill. He's just so good, and he's a doctor who's delivered a lot of babies. But seeing a pro-life doc do that, if you haven't seen him yet, you'll want to see him. David Barton of Wall Builders, he'll be doing the foundation of the country, what our founders were thinking, the faith that was crucial to it all. And then a guy that you've come to know a lot, Steve, Lucas Miles of TPUSA Faith. He'll be giving basically the spiritual underpinnings, kind of the condition of the culture, what's going to take for cultural transformation, speaking to a lot of the pastors in the audience. And then, of course, we always have the one and only Steve Dace right here coming in as well to fire up the crowd. Last year, still one of the most remarked about messages that we've had is about you and your mom and your pro-life journey yourself. And I think this year it's going to be more on what you experienced from Charlie Kirk, go hard and what is needed, and basically being worthy of the bullet, that Charlie took for you. But then we'll be honoring Governor Kim Reynolds. We'll be introducing governor candidate Zach Lane. We'll be introducing U.S. Senate candidate Ashley Hinson, along with all the other family leader stuff. It's going to be a action-packed full day. July 17, Friday. Go to thefamilyleader.com. Get your tickets.
Let's talk about somebody who's not going to be there. But what probably will be there a year from now, I'm going to guess.
Next year.
Is Vice President J.D. Vance. So you've had this, or we've had this interesting, and is it providential? Is it serendipity? Is it a little bit of both? But, he's had this book tour planned for right now for a while.
Yep.
All right. This has been planned for well over a year. I mean, that's about how long it takes to write one of these hardcover books. And I know that from, I've written a few of them myself. He's also operating a publicity tour at a way different level than anything I've ever done before and probably will ever do. And so that also takes a good amount of time, months and a year plus in advance to plan. because he also has to take time out from his official duties as VP to set aside to do this.
And there's a little bit going on.
Yeah, well, so this idea that all this was planned is not true. But you do kind of see that the administration thought, hey, he's going to be out there anyway doing all this media. Might as well have him go ahead and run point on selling the Iran strategy to the American people. And the way that I've never seen the initial 24 hours of messaging, starting with his appearance on The View, I've never seen anything I've never seen anybody do a messaging onslaught, blitzkrieg like that, like ever. So this has kind of been almost like a test drive of what life would be like with him as a standard bearer. I really don't want us to yet discuss the merits of him as a candidate because, frankly, none of our opinions matter. Donald Trump's going to pick the nominee. Mm-hmm. This entire thing is a fait accompli. It's just a matter of when he decides to make that
real
pick.
Life apprentice.
Yeah, I mean, so Trump could make you and I even more irrelevant than we already are. And I, by the way, if you're listening at the White House, put me out of my misery and just make an endorsement like tomorrow. I'd happily not endure another Iowa caucus process. I'm speaking for me, just for me. I'd happily endure bypassing that. I've done enough of that. All right.
For me, make it a year from now after my event, and then because I got to make the money.
I know.
Right?
That's why I was speaking only for me. It's only for me. But ultimately, the president's going to decide. He'll decide if he endorses late, then we'll get some kind of a primary. If he endorses early, we won't. And then whoever he endorses is going to be the nominee. So vetting him and the merits of him as a candidate now from an ideological perspective, I kind of think is irrelevant.
Right.
All right. Because the only vetting that matters is the president's. And then there's this idea that Marco Rubio is somehow going to be able to differentiate himself from the foreign policy of the administration, because a lot of the folks that want a more aggressive tactic with Iran are online, and it's very clear that they prefer Rubio because of his previous foreign policy record. So Rubio thinks he's going to get Trump's endorsement by going out there next year and saying, I was totally against Trump's Iran deal. How would that even possibly work? Makes no sense to me. So let's just bypass those silly season arguments. His performance just as a standalone, regardless of what you think of the merits of him as a standard bearer, what about the performance of him as a standard bearer? What would you say about that in the last week?
Just outstanding. As a matter of fact, I watched him, or pieces of him when he was on The View, and I thought, again, really good, very disarming, taking their bullet points away and being able to give his talking points. And then later that night, I believe he was on Fox News with Gutfeld, and I thought, again, just really, really good. He can fit the audience. But, Steve, I go back to when he debated Governor Tim Walz, the only VP debate that they had. And I still recall when he was taking Walz to task about how wrong Walz was. And Walz, they got a split-screen picture, and Walz is shaking his head in the affirmative as he's taking Walz to task about, but he laid it out in such a way of, I agree with Tim here, but let me tell you why we disagree here. And then Tim's shaking his head, yes. He's a very effective communicator. One of the best I think we've ever seen on our side. And so as far as being a standard bearer, a message bearer, it's going to be awfully hard to get somebody better than J.D. Vance. Although I would say, to the Marco Rubio comment, I'm not saying Marco Rubio is going to run against him or even has I don't know what it is. But Marco's been very, very good, too, on message of being a message
Absolutely
bearer.
has been. Absolutely has been. So let's talk about Rubio for a second because it ties into this conversation, too. I have not heard, any levels of rumbling, any levels of official reach outs or contacts at all about him attempting. He had a very strong finish in Iowa when he ran 10 years ago. Yep. Finished very strong down the stretch to finish a very competitive third in that race. He still has a solid block of organizational support in the state left over from that race. But I've not heard anything at all, no scuttlebutt at all about him kind of just check in or any of his people doing any advanced groundwork or anything of that, even just, a phone call or two to an activist. Have you heard anything? Because I've heard jack squat. Nothing.
As a matter of fact, from Marco Rubio or from his team, they have been laser focused on the task at hand. And I'm not saying I'm all that, but typically I do get contacted by people that are at least, hey, just want to check in, how you doing, kind of gives you an idea. They've got something coming down the line. That has not been Marco Rubio, and that has not been his team. That said, there's been a lot of grassroots activists as I travel the state and get a chance to visit with a lot of people going, I really like Marco Rubio. And some people saying, where was this Marco Rubio 10 years ago? Because if we saw this Marco Rubio 10 years ago.
Listen, if Marco Rubio never takes the stage with Lindsey Graham for the Gang of Eight, he is the Republican nominee in 2016.
Question. I remember you coming from one of those events going, I think he's your nominee.
Cruz never runs. I don't think Trump runs. I think one of the low-key pivotal moments in the 21st century of the American right was Marco Rubio doing the Gang of Eight.
The Gang of Eight.
If he doesn't do that, then he is the absolute anointed. He's our Obama, essentially. He's the anointed one. He is going to be the nominee. And I think a lot of the history of the last 10 years is dramatically altered by his choice to do that one singular thing.
And when you take a look at Trump, and obviously we love President Trump for a lot of reasons, but the way he messages, Iran's going to close the Strait of Hormuz. Well, I'm going to blow the blank out of them, right? Well, then you get a J.D. Vance, the way he messages, and Marco Rubio, the way they message completely different than President Trump. But both come at it from a different tactic, a very strong base, to where you're going, that guy could be a successor. Both those guys have that with them right now.
Now, here's why I bring this up, and I want to get your take on this. All right, you tell me if you think I'm wrong, okay? Because Rubio, to me, is handling this perfectly. He understands everything I just said. Trump's going to pick our nominee. Trump's going to decide if we even get to have a primary at all. So there is no point whatsoever if you're Marco Rubio in doing anything at all to get any of your shoes dirty whatsoever. You should just be, what you just said, laser focused on the task at hand.
You bet.
I mean, it's a meme. How many jobs can Marco Rubio have, right? Marco Rubio is doing this right, which is, I'm going to serve this president to the best of my ability. And the reality is he's going to decide if I have a path to be the nominee or not. All right. And so there's no point in me doing anything at all to get into any kind of urination contest back and forth with J.D. Vance. And I bring this up because I know you've seen this too. A lot of the folks that are upset about the Iran deal and want us to be more aggressive in Iran, and a lot of them are friends of mine.
Sure. And
people that I am more broadly aligned with on other topics like anti-Semitism, for example, even though I don't agree with them here. But that's not the point of this conversation. What I am concerned about, though, is by constantly and not even subtly and not even passive aggressively. Like this thing went around over the weekend where a clip of Marco Rubio from almost a year ago, I think it was February, so half a year ago, a clip from February talking about Iran, you can't deal with Iran. They were out there passing this clip around like he was just saying this last weekend to differentiate himself from the administration. When you and I both know the chances that Trump will anoint Marco Rubio as the next nominee by pointing out he disagrees with him are negative and nil, and the chances of Greta Thunberg being right about it, literally anything, right?
Yeah.
I think they're doing him a huge disservice. I think if you make the reason you're for Marco Rubio is you think he's more staunchly pro-Israel than JD, I think you're essentially branding him as like Israel first. Mm-hmm. And you're actually undermining Rubio's strategy, which is to hang back, let the events that are not in my control work themselves out, and just be available should those events work out in a way that benefits me. I'm untarnished. I'm untainted. Everybody likes me again. I appeal to every faction of the party, and I can get called out of the bullpen. By sitting here right now and attempting to say, well, we want to invade Iran over Israel, and Marco would give us our Operation Enduring Persian Freedom. There is a segment of our base, and you and I some of them be at your event next month that will cheer that on, but in the larger context, you're branding Marco Rubio that the only reason you want him over JD is he'll have more war for Israel. And I think you're stepping right on a rake, and you're actually hurting Rubio's chances in 28 by doing this. What do you think?
I think you're exactly right. And first of all, I think Rubio's strategy is brilliant because what you said earlier, all these events are out of his control. Matter of fact, what happens in the midterms is going to determine a lot about the caucuses in 2027. I really believe that. If the midterms go desperately south, you're going to get a lot of candidates, I believe, in the 2028 midterms. If they go swimmingly well, I think what you're going to do is J.D. Vance, or Trump's going to say it's either J.D. or it's Marco Rubio. By Marco Rubio basically saying, listen, I'm just doing Trump's bidding and staying with the focus at hand. It's not about Israel first. It's about America first, and pointing out why this is about America first. Let him make that argument. Steve, the one election I did win is when Governor Branstad appointed me to a governor's council to serve people on disabilities. And that commission was about ready to elect a chair. And I told them, listen, I don't want to be chair. I actually think this guy should be chair, but let me tell you what you should look for in a chair. And just laid it out. And before I knew it, the guy that I said is the guy that should be chair nominated me to be chair. And then it got seconded, and then it was unanimous, and I got to be chair of the commission. It's a little bit, I think, what Rubio's saying. Let me stay focused here. This is what you should be looking for in the next president. And by the way, it should be JD. But if all of a sudden circumstances are, it can't be JD.
Right.
Boom.
To have people say that Trump's really doing JD's foreign policy.
Right.
And if Rubio knows the way, that is not, you do not win Trump over by saying he's a tool to somebody else.
Right.
And that somebody on his staff knows better and is better at this than him. Yeah. I think they're hurting Marco Rubio 28.
They're hurting Marco Rubio 2028, but Marco Rubio is way better than that as well. And so I think Rubio will be able to message even that, I think what they saw is I was resolved. I dealt with Iran before. I don't believe you can deal with somebody that, wants to take you off the map, those type of things. But I think Rubio can message that himself. I don't think his base is the one that should be trying to promote him to that level.
All right, one more time, folks want to get information about the Leadership Summit. We got about a minute here.
Yeah,
where can they go?
Go to thefamilyleader.com. And obviously you want to be there to see you
have to have the in there.
Yeah, thefamilyleader.com. You want to see Steve Deace. You want to see Lucas Miles. You want to see David Barton. You want to see Dr. Bill Lyle. You want to see the Speaker of the U.S. House, Mike Johnson. But more than anything, you want to see your friends and neighbors there because it is just inspiring. Todd has seen it. You've seen it. To basically be like, I'm not alone. There's thousands of people right here that think like I do. Mm-hmm. You want to be there. It is one of the most inspiring things you will do this summer, bar none. We'd love to see you there.
All right, thefamilyleader.com.
And one more thing, Steve, I got to say, Logan Reiser, who's a faithful listener to this show, is producing an iconic, historic Guinness Book of World Record blown glass American flag. They'll be unveiled at the summit. You do not want to miss that.
Well, I got a chance to get a little preview of his idea last summer, and I was absolutely blown away.
You're the one who handed it off to me.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but since you want to give me credit for that, yeah.
Take the credit.
Yeah, take the credit. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Vanderplots.
All right.
And thank you to all of you for your questions. We're going to try to answer as many of them as we can. Coming up next, stay tuned.